Hello, everyone, and welcome back to The Rundown. I will be your host today, Craig DeLuz, coming at you from the West Coast, the left coast, behind the Iron Curtain, otherwise known as the Sierras. And today is Taco Tuesday.
It's raining tacos from out of the sky. Tacos, no need to ask why. Just open your mouth and close your eyes. It's raining tacos. It's raining tacos out in the street. Tacos, all you can eat. Lettuce and shells, cheese and meat. It's raining tacos. Yum, 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 yummity yum. It's like a dream. Yum, 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 yummity yum. Bring your sour cream.
That's right. I have decided that in the song we are now going to make sure to include the sour cream. Even though it may not be part of the original tacos, or the folks in Florida who really don't know anything about tacos, like Mike, they may not like sour cream, but those of us on the West Coast, those of us in California, where you will find the best Mexican food on the planet, yeah, we like sour cream. So, I don't know. Bite me, I guess, if you don't like it. Anyway, we're going to have a good time. Taco Tuesday is about celebrating the diaspora that is being American. And, there's nothing more uniquely American than our food. And I say that because, we bring, everyone brings all sorts of different things to the table from all different cultures. And we have a unique way of making it uniquely American. I mean, if you have Chinese food here and then you go and have Chinese food in China, two different things. Mexican food here and Mexican food in Mexico, even though we're neighbors, completely different things. Italian food, I mean, you name it. It's different here than it is there. We make it uniquely American. And that is, when people talk about quote unquote diversity being our strength, yeah, but it's only diversity if it's only a strength if we add in the unity. And the unity is making it uniquely American. And that's what we love about Taco Tuesday is there is nothing there are few foods that have had more of where there has been more of an impact, making it more American than than tacos. I can't think of once again. I can't think of a better way to put it. Other than that, it's phenomenal. But anyway, so Mike is not going to be joining us today. So it is just going to be us. It's going to be me. It's going to be you. We're going to talk about politics. We're going to talk about the issues. We're going to have a really, really, really good time. But it'll be an even better time if you incorporate your comments. If you let us know what's up, what you think about the issues impacting the day. Know what I mean? So do us a favor. Well, we very much look forward to you commenting, letting us know what you think about the various issues of the day. Just know this: we don't have to agree with you. Once again, let's be very clear. All we care about is that you are interesting. You don't have to agree with us. We just want you to be interesting. And but do know that if you do choose to disagree with us, well, we do reserve the right to mock you.
Oh wow, is that a mockingbird?
Man, isn't it a mockingbird? Isn't it a mockingbird?
That's right. Because mocking is fun. Or as my good friend, as our good friend Mike will tell you, we will mock you. Yeah, we be funny like that. Anyway, folks, let's go ahead and we're going to do like we usually do. We're going to get into today's stories, but we're going to start off by giving a quick shout out to our sponsors. I'm going to start with the folks over at Hitman Industries. If you're looking to either rebarrel your current rifle or maybe you're looking to do a brand new build, there is no better place for you to look than at Hitman Industries. They have rifle and pistol caliber barrels available at any length for you to purchase. Just go to hitmanindustries.net. Then we've got the California Republican Assembly working to help elect conservatives at all level of government, from school board all the way up to President of the United States. Ronald Reagan once referred to CRA as the conscience of the Republican Party. Won't you check them out today? Just go to cragop.org. That's cragop.org. If you want to be a part of California's future today, you got to join CRA. And then we have the best in concealed carry tactical holsters available on the market. You will find them at hogholsters.com. That's HAWG holsters.com, making Helping Americans Wear Guns. Check them out today. Just go to the website. If you go there and you use the discount code The Rundown, all caps, no spaces, one word, just like it is right up there, you're going to get a discount, a fun discount on us. So check them out today. Once again, that's hogholsters.com. And then finally, if you're looking for field gear, if you're looking for outdoor gear, tactical gear, warm weather gear, hot weather gear, wet weather gear, if you're looking in particular, if you're looking for a group, because they specialize in group sales, right? You want to go to uscombatgear.com. Go to their website, check them out. They have huge discounts, especially for group sales. They have a huge selection. They have the best customer service available on the market. All you got to do is go to uscombatgear.com, where you can find all things tactical except the gun. All right, let's get into today's stories, and we're going to start off with the Democratic Party and socialism. And I know, I mean, it's not hard to believe that the Democratic Party just kind of really represents socialistic points of views and perspectives. But that is no more evident than these days, than this day. Because as polls have shown, and this is one of the things we're going to show in this particular video here coming up, Democratic Party seems to love socialism, and I do not understand why, but they just seem to love it. And that is kind of the story behind this particular video right here. Check it out. And this is, by the way, this is from folks over at CNN. This ain't Fox that's sharing this stuff.
Talking about socialism, and we're talking about Democrats.
Yeah, okay. You know, I'm not really surprised that Kathy Hochul decided to, in fact, endorse R.M. Mandani, because the fact is, socialism is not a four-letter word in Democratic primaries, not among Democratic voters. It's a five-letter word in the minds of a lot of Democrats, that five-letter word being great. Look at this. Net popularity of socialism among Democrats. You go back to 2010, it was plus 7 points. Look how high it is now, up like a rocket, up to plus 36 points. That's a jump of nearly 30 points on the net popularity scale among Democrats in just 15 years. And I was looking at the polling from New York City, and what you see is the clear plurality of New York City Democrats think the idea of having a socialist mayor is a good idea, matching what we see nationally. The bottom line is socialism isn't a dirty word among Democrats at this particular point. It's actually a word that, when attached, Democrats seem to like it.
That's a huge jump, and that's not that long ago, let me add.
No.
What about capitalism?
Yeah, okay. So if all of a sudden socialism is now a five-letter word, great. What I would say is capitalism in the mind of Democrats is a three-letter word, bad. What are we talking about? Net popularity of socialism among Democrats. Look at this trend. It was plus 8 points in 2010 on the positive side of the ledger. Look at where we are in 2025. Down. Falling through the floor at minus 13 points. That's a drop of over 20 points in just 15 years. So we see the exact opposite trend that we see at socialism, which is up, up and away. What we see with capitalism is down, down, down through the floor.
Okay, we're talking about Democrats here. What about if you look at the larger population, Harry? Is it the same type of thing?
This is where the danger is for Democrats, because if socialism plays in Democratic primaries, it does not play in the general electorate. What do we see going on here? Net popularity among all adults. Capitalism is on the positive side of the ledger at plus 12 points. Socialism way, way, way underwater at minus 18 points. So that's capitalism running away by 30 points over socialism. That is why Republicans are thanking their lucky stars if Mandani, in fact, wins the general election, because they feel like they can play off of him, because socialism may play in New York City among Democrats, but among the general electorate, Donald Trump and the Republicans are saying, hey, look at this socialist mayor in New York City. This is what we're dealing with. So again, something may play in Democratic primaries. It may play in the very Democratic city of New York. But among the general electorate, Republicans are salivating at the idea that they can run against a Democratic socialist being the mayor of New York City.
Interesting way to break down those.
So, and I thought, once again, this is CNN. So this isn't stuff that's coming from some, right-wing think tank. It's not coming from right-wing media. This is direct polling coming from Democrat-leaning sources. And what they're saying is this, is that right now, amongst Democrats, socialism is highly popular. And that's in no small part. It's not just Democrats, but young Democratic voters, in particular, young college-educated female Democrat voters. They have bought into the concept of the government being this big, huge, this thing that's like, we need government to run things. We need to trust government to do these things and to hand over our wealth, to hand over our children, to hand over our families, to hand over our institutions to government to make decisions because they've got the experts, right? But what's happened with most voters, and that's what he's noting here. What's happened with most voters is their experience has been very, very different. They recognize that the federal government doesn't, they get it wrong a lot. They got it wrong a lot during COVID. They got the economy and inflation wrong a lot. They got Joe Biden wrong, and whether or not he was fit to be president, they got that wrong a lot. They got the Hunter Biden laptop wrong a lot. Right? When you hand things over to the control of the government, they generally tend to do poorly, as opposed to allowing the people. See, and that's the real difference here. See, the difference between economic systems is this. Under socialism, the government and government experts, I use that in phrases because they call them experts, but they really don't know shit. But they call them the experts. They make the decisions as opposed to under capitalism. And I hate that word capitalism because it was created by Karl Marx, but really it's in a free market economy. The people, the consumers make the decision. They determine what products will succeed. They determine what products will fail. They do it by basically figuring out what are my needs, right? What are my needs and who meets those needs? And whoever meets those needs, they get my money. The greater the need, the greater amount of money I'm willing to give them. But that basic understanding of economics does not exist in many urban communities. And the reason why they don't teach basic economics, the reason why they don't teach the laws of supply and demand, right? The reason why they don't teach that is because, well, they want you to support socialism. Because that means that it gives them more control. It gives the government more control over the decisions, over the key decisions, over what your children are going to read in school, right? Over what they're going to learn in school, over what foods are going to be available, over how much you're going to pay in taxes, over government regulation, all of the things, over how your business is going to be conducted. All of those decisions are controlled in a socialist government. And a socialist government is not about people prospering economically. In fact, the only way in which it actually creates equity or equality, it's not by lifting up those on the bottom to match those on the top. It's by taking those on the top and making sure that they are in line with those on the bottom. That is socialism. It may not be socialism in the theory that they communicate it, but it's socialism in practice, in the real world. And just so y'all know, we don't live in practice. We live in the real world. And there are many, many voters, many, many Democrat voters, many of them young, many of them drawn to urban communities. Yeah, you live in the real world. And you've got the left convinced, or the left has got you convinced, that somehow, even though your city council, even your school boards, even though your county boards of supervisors, even though your state governments are 100% controlled by the left, they've got you, and by socialists, by people who believe in socialism, somehow, they have you convinced that free market economies and the people on the right are the problem. And if only we can force them to submit, then everything will be all right. It won't. We said a little louder. For those of you who didn't hear it, it won't. So don't fall for the trap. Don't fall for the trap, because that's all it is. It is really a trap. Oh, Bobby Landis is chiming in over on Facebook, says facts. Yes, these are facts. Thank you so much. And I appreciate you recognizing that. These are, facts, not feelings. Because facts give a hoot about your feelings. They really do. They really do. All right, well, so we now know that we are now talking historic peace is now taking place in the Middle East, but that did not stop Hamas from doing their thing and doing what they really want to do. And here's the thing: even though Hamas has agreed to the basic terms of the deal, the reality is we know that they've got future plans, and they're going to make sure that they do the best that they can to be in control of the Gaza Strip when everything goes down. Okay, why is this one? Okay, there we go. Okay, they're gonna do the best they can in order to make sure that they are still in control when things go down. And that's why this piece over at the Washington Free Beacon is so important. It says here, Hamas storms through Gaza, executing opposition groups in attempt to cling to power. Let's read a little bit from the piece here, once again over at the Washington Free Beacon. As Israelis celebrated the return of their countrymen from Hamas captivity early Monday, the terror group stormed through the streets of Gaza, executing Palestinians they claim collaborated with Israel. Graphic videos circulating on social media show. Masked Hamas gunmen sporting the terror group's signature green headband could be seen lining up bound men in the streets and executing them before cheering mobs, just as the 20 living Israeli hostages came home as part of President Trump's peace plan. The terror group's rampage suggests it is trying to preserve its rule over Gaza, rejecting the Trump agreement requirement that Hamas disarm and stand down. The gunmen seen in the dramatic footage are affiliated with Hamas Arrow Unit, an internal security force known for terrorizing Gazans' civilian population, according to the Foundation for Defense of Democracies. Research analyst Joe Trusman, Hamas victims are believed to be members of the Domash clan, a Palestinian faction that has openly warred with the terror group in recent days. Hamas is demanding, quote, all rivals lay down their weapons within 48 hours and surrender their leaders. The Financial Times reported over the weekend. The graphic videos Trusman told the Washington Free Beacon are meant to demonstrate that the terror group still controls Gaza. And here's the thing, that is in direct opposition, direct contrast to what has been agreed upon by the leadership supposedly there in Hamas. Here's the thing, and I said this yesterday, I said this last week. The reality is Hamas is not to be trusted. Now, the good news is, as a part of this deal, if they don't stop this, then they die. Then they're gone. Then Israel, the IDF, has permission to do whatever it takes to undo them. And that's a good thing. It really is a good thing, because they're not interested in peace. They're only interested in the death of all Jews. And if the death of Gazans, if the death of Palestinians, if they believe that that will lead to the death of all Jews, then they will kill all Jews. Or they will kill all God. They would kill every single Palestinian if it meant that all the Jews would die, that the Jews would be out of the Middle East. You'll start to see them say, yeah, we're done. Here's where they are. Come get them. That's exactly what you'll see. They'll say, here's where they are. Come get them. We're not going to protect them anymore. We're not going to put our citizens at risk any longer. You talk nice to the Americans, so we're going to try to overthrow you. They realize that these folks are not, and if we're going to do that, then to a certain degree, we have to stop waging war over stupid stuff, especially wars that in the end we know they know, because in recognition that American Crossfire's probably got a nice little following. So thank you so much, y'all, for tuning in. We appreciate you tuning in and liking and sharing. Did I say sharing? Did I mention sharing the program? Thank you for sharing the program with your friends. Okay, that now brings us to our next story. And of course we know, because, Democrats have friends, and Democrats have friends with convictions. I don't know if this particular Democrat's friend has convictions, but well, let's just say if they don't, they likely will sometime soon. You remember that house that is in Virginia? That Letitia James claimed was going to be her primary residence. Turns out it's not her primary residence. Well, interesting story about that whole spot. Turns out that she does have a friend or a family member who lives there, and well, let's just say that relative, as they say, Letitia James's fugitive relative who lives in her Virginia home was arrested twice for assaulting cops. Why does this not surprise me? Am I the only one who is not surprised by this? Am I the only one who looks at this and says, "Yeah, I could have seen this coming"? No, am I the only one? Let me know in the comments if you saw this coming. I'm not going to say I saw it coming, but I'll just say that it did not surprise me one bit. Let's read a little bit of the story. It says that New York's top law enforcer is housing a cop-hating fugitive relative in her Virginia home who was twice arrested for assaulting police officers, according to court documents. State Attorney General Letitia James's grandniece, Nakia Thompson, 36, is currently wanted in North Carolina for failing to complete the terms of her parole following a 2011 arrest in Winston-Salem. In that case, she was charged with malicious conduct by a prisoner, a felony, along with assault of a government official and resisting a public officer, court records show. Since 2020, Thompson has been living at a house owned by Letitia James in Norfolk, Virginia, which is now the center of the criminal indictment against the AG. Federal prosecutors accused James of lying on her mortgage application when she bought the home, claiming it was a second home that she would not rent out in order to obtain a favorable rate. Prosecutors say James, however, has had paying tenants in the house. Thompson told a federal grand jury in Virginia that she had been living in the house with her kids and that she was not paying rent to James, according to the New York Times. Before moving into James's Virginia home, Thompson had a lengthy rap sheet in Winston-Salem. There, I believe, is the home right there. It says here in 2006, she was charged with 3 counts of assault of a government official as well as misdemeanor probation violation. She also faced larceny charge that same year. So, in other words, not only did Letitia James lie, right? Because this is not her primary residence. Someone else is living in the house. Now, the person says that she doesn't pay Letitia James rent. Raise your hand if you believe that. I'm sorry, I was about to raise my hand because I don't believe it. Raise your hand if you believe that. Leave me a comment, leave me a like, do something. Let me know if you believe that she is not paying her rent. I don't know if it's market rate, but she's definitely paying her something. But here's the thing. Even if she is not paying rent, it is still not her primary residence, which means she still lied. Letitia James still lied on a loan form, which, by the way, counts. And I was talking with someone about this because they said, well, it wasn't really a government form. No, a loan application is considered a government form. In particular, if you get government support or financing like Freddie Mae or Fannie Mae or whatever the Freddie Mac, Fannie Mae, whatever those programs are. If you get that sort of subsidy, it's considered a government form. She lied. And the Attorney General for one of the largest states in the country should know that. And the fact that she didn't, the fact that she did, she signed it anyway, it's a pretty big sign of the fact that she broke the law. Now, once again, would this be a big deal if she had not gone after Donald Trump for something very similar? Bigger scale, much bigger scale, because, dude has a lot more money. But lying on loan applications in order to get a favorable rate, even though the loan, as far as I know, the loan is not in default, it's being paid. I'm sure the bank has no problem with it because they're getting paid, right? But she decided to prosecute Donald Trump for a very similar offense. Once again, much smaller scale, but the principle of the law is just the same. So no, you don't get to pretend, you don't get to play, you don't get to act like you're all innocent and stuff. You're not. You're going to jail. And then on top of it, come to find out, she's housing a felon. Or not a felon, a convicted criminal. I don't know if the things the crimes in which she has committed, and I will not say that she is accused of because she pled on them, which means she was convicted. I like how they're even the New York Post is very ginger about how they put it. The fact is, if that it was part of a plea deal, that means she was convicted of it. She accepted the conviction for it, which means I'm not going to say it means she's guilty because there are plenty of people who accept plea deals for stuff that they're not guilty of. But she accepted a plea deal, which meant she was convicted of it, and she is now she's now living in the house of a person who's also about to be convicted of a crime. Not saying, just saying. Okay, I'm trying to get it right here, American Crossfire. You say I'm working on it. What exactly are you working on? Are you working on figuring out if you're a he or a she, or if you're a they? Just kidding. I am just kidding. I'm just kidding. I won't misgender you. I won't dead name you. I won't do any of that stuff. But yeah, you kind of opened yourself up for that one. I don't know what to tell you. I'm working on it. Okay. All right, that now brings us to the last one, and that is President Trump honoring Charlie Kirk. This is a big one. This is a nice one here. Except I just realized that I didn't pull it up here. Here we go. President Trump honors Charlie Kirk with the Medal of Freedom. Did I not pull down the video? Well, that was just pretty darn stupid. Oh, me. So let me do this real quick. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to download the video right now. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to play. I'm going to upload the video into the thing, and we're going to let you watch Donald Trump honor Charlie Kirk with the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Now, this is a big deal. This is the greatest honor that a civilian can have bestowed upon them. And I think there are a lot of people who legitimately question whether or not Charlie Kirk should be honored in this way. I, for one, don't. I happen to think that, when I look back on it, if I hadn't taken the time to really spend some time with the content of Charlie Kirk and the things that he believed in, the things that he discussed, I would probably have issue with it. Okay, I'm not going to show the video because now I'm just realizing it's like 45 minutes, and I have no way to kind of pull out the video here for you. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pull up the article. We're going to talk about the article, and then I'm going to share a link to it so that you can then watch the entire ceremony yourself, right? And I apologize. I probably should have had this together before the show started. I thought I did, but evidently I did not because, well, it is what it is. Anyway, it says, watch live. Trump honors Charlie Kirk with Medal of Freedom. President Donald Trump posthumously awards Charlie Kirk with the Presidential Medal of Freedom, America's highest civilian honor, on Tuesday, October 14th. Kirk, the co-founder of Turning Point USA, was assassinated on September 10th while engaging in open debate at Utah Valley University. 22-year-old Tyler Robinson was charged with his murder, and prosecutors are seeking the death penalty. Trump hosted Argentinian President Javier Milei earlier Tuesday, who last week honored Charlie Kirk during a concert and said, after the conservative leader's death, the whole world lost an incredible human being. And that's the thing here, folks. Look, you don't have to agree with Charlie Kirk on everything. But I think the thing that's important to understand about who Charlie Kirk was that he loved God first and foremost, and he loved God more than he hated liberals. And he didn't even, here's the thing, he didn't hate liberals. He hated liberal ideology. He hated liberal philosophy. He hated liberal policies. And he hated it for one main reason. He hated it for this main reason, and that so much of it was contrary to the word of God. That was his biggest issue. His biggest issue just had to do with the fact that so much of what the left promotes is contrary to the word and the will of God. But even with that, he was willing to give individuals with whom he disagreed the opportunity to stand up. He was willing to give them a voice, right? He was willing to give them a platform that would reach thousands, if not millions of people and express why they believed what they believed. And to defend it. I mean, who else does that? Where else can you go to do that? I've seen and heard tons of liberal shows. And you know what? First of all, very few of them will have me on. And I'm not even, I'm okay. I'm compared to Charlie Kirk when it comes to defending conservatism and defending our values. He is miles ahead of where I am. I would love to be as quick and as articulate. Of course, I think if I spent as much time on college campuses and much time debating the issues as he did, I probably would be better. But I consider myself to be pretty good at it. But to have that opportunity, nobody's had the impact and given people. Here's the thing: he has either helped people on the right. He's helped people on the right and the left either have a deeper understanding of their belief by having to defend it, or a greater understanding of the positions of those with whom they disagree, because not only did he articulately express conservative perspectives, but he also gave people the opportunity to defend other positions. That's the sort of discourse that we need to be engaging in, especially on college campuses. That's where those conversations are supposed to be happening. They don't happen in the classrooms. It's amazing that college professors considered him to be such a danger. And he may be on an individual campus for 3 to 4 hours. These university professors had these kids for 3 to 4 hours a week, for 20 weeks, for 15 weeks. They actually have the ability to determine whether or not those students pass or fail. Their academic careers are in the hands of these professors who are indoctrinating them. And yet they were worried about Charlie Kirk. Why? Why? Well, I'll say this, and this is the thing that I will say both about Charlie Kirk and about myself. One of the number one things that made him a quality debater, one of the number one things that makes me a quality debater is the fact that the truth is on my side. For him, it's the fact that the truth is on his side. And as long as we are willing to stand up and speak the truth, then we're always going to be in a better position to win these arguments and debates. Now, here's the deal. The truth is going to offend. The truth offends. It does. There are some people who can't handle the truth because they've gotten used to living their lives in misinformation, disinformation, or in just flat out lies. They're in denial. And it's a comfortable place for them. And when you say the truth, and I'm a believer in trying to say truth in love. I'm not saying I always succeed in that, but I believe that my goal ought to always be to not have, to have, if the truth that I am sharing offends, It may offend. It may or may not offend. That's not my concern. As long as I'm sharing the truth. The key is how I share that truth. Is how I am sharing that truth causing the offense? If that's the case, then I need to check myself in terms of how I'm ministering or how I'm sharing that truth. But otherwise, you know what? If y'all can't handle the truth, then well, I don't know what to tell you. Like, you can't handle the truth. And that, quite frankly, folks, in some cases, just happens to be very, very true. All right, folks, that now brings us around to our parting shots. Parting shots are brought to you by Hog Holsters. Just go to hogholsters.com. Use the discount code The Rundown. All caps, no spaces, one word. Get your Hog Holster on discount today. All right, we're going to start. By the way, all of our parting shots today are going to be brought to you by the folks over at the Babylon Bee, fake news that you can trust. Our first one here. Democrats vow to keep government shut down until someone notices. Now, this is a pretty big deal because, I don't know that anyone that's noticed in a negative way. My son-in-law who works in the military, he normally commutes like two and a half hours one way to work, and they basically told him, yeah, don't bother coming in until the government shutdown's over. So that's the only way I've noticed is that I got an extra person around the house during the day. Other than that, I haven't really noticed the effects of the government shutdown. But anyway, there you go. All right, this next one here, as the ceasefire has now taken place and now they're working on peace. There are still protests in the streets. And this time, well, let's just put it this way. Leftists take to the streets to protest end of genocide. See, they're protesting it not because they're upset about the end of the war. They're upset because Donald Trump is getting credit for the end of the war. Yeah, there you go. Anyway, which, by the way, if this had happened maybe a month earlier, just maybe Donald Trump would have been a lock for the Nobel Peace Prize. But you know what? He is still holding out hope, as according to our friends over at the Babylon Bee, fake news you can trust. It's not over. It's not over yet. Trump's still hoping for Nobel in literature for latest Truth Social post. And I have to tell you, Donald Trump's Truth Social post, I have Truth Social. I don't follow a lot of the stuff on there, largely because, well, I can get the same exact stuff everywhere else, and I just really don't need another social media thing. And if it's worth listening to, I'm going to hear what Donald Trump had to say on Truth Social anyway. But he has had some rather large, epic posts there on Truth Social. Anyway, and now this last one, if anyone's had a little kid around recently, and I have a grandson whose diaper change is, well, let's just say trying to change it is, it's a battle. It really is, which makes this next one very, very fitting. Also from the Babylon Bee. Baby obtains third-degree black belt in rolling out of diaper changes. Yeah, just add a little bit more curlier hair on that, and that would be my grandson Jason, because I've tried to change his diaper, and trust me, it takes some skill, some martial arts skill in order to keep that baby in place. Let me tell you. All right, folks, well, that brings us to the end of our program. But before we go, we're going to give one more quick shout out to our sponsors. We're going to start with Hitman Industries. You'll find them at hitmanindustries.net. Rifle and pistol caliber barrels available for you to purchase today. Then we've got the California Republican Assembly, the conscience of the Republican Party. Please check them out at cragop.org. And then you've got the best in concealed carry tactical holsters available on the market at hogholsters.com. That's HAWG holsters.com, as they are helping Americans wear guns. And then finally, you've got the place where you can find all things tactical except a gun. And that would be uscombatgear.com. All right, folks, that's going to be it for today's program. We appreciate you tuning in. We appreciate you liking and sharing the program and encouraging your friends to do the same. We will be back tomorrow on Hump Day. Till then, y'all have fun, stay safe, and we will see you mañana.